Basically, thank you for starting the recording. So in the last session, we discussed the starting of the Buddhi Yoga section. So these were the four verses 41 to 44, which majorly we discussed. And we saw that Krishna is using the technique of compare and contrast. So whenever, basically in Vedas also, you will see that whenever there is an injunction which needs to be emphasized, then there will be a do and there will be a don't. So vidhi and nisheda, what you have to do and what you don't have to do. So here in these four verses, we saw that in the 41st verse, basically a nature of a person who is a buddhi yogi is his intelligence is fixed, his intelligence is single pointed. And in the purport, Prabhupada is writing that like Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kai Shuddhada Nishcha. So a person who has full faith that by doing Krishna Bhakti, he can achieve everything. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritaya. So in this injunction, he should have full faith and full confidence that when we surrender to Krishna, when we do devotion to Krishna, then Krishna will protect us. Krishna will arrange all the rest of the things for us. So that is a person who is a buddhi yogi, who has full faith in this injunction, and he fixes his intelligence on Krishna. So the nature of that intelligence is that the intelligence is single pointed. And on the other hand, a person who is not a buddhi yogi, his intelligence is multi-branched. So sometimes he has to go here, sometimes he has to go there. So his mind is not peaceful. He always like keeps on switching things, and he's not clear what are the priorities. So that is characterized by the bahushaka yanantascha. So that is the karma thing basically, bahushaka. And then in the 42nd and 43rd verse, Krishna is telling about the injunctions of the Vedas, that how rules and regulations in Vedas, they are actually promoting you to enjoy heavenly pleasures. So there are many injunctions in Vedas which basically promote you to heavenly planets. And in the heavenly planets, you will get better bodies, which has more capacity of doing sense gratification, like enjoying with apsaras, drinking somarasa, and all the sensual pleasures will be 1,000 times more what is there in human life. But actually that is Vedavadarata. So basically, although that is the flowery language of Vedas, which will actually take you away from the goal of life, because once you follow the Vedic injunctions, which basically help you to cultivate heavenly planet knowledge, then you will do pious activities and you will promote to heavenly planets. But as soon as your pious credits is finished, by enjoying those credits, then again you will come back to this earthly planet, and then again you will do some pious credits and then again go to heavenly planets. So this birth and death cycle will continue, and there is no like escape route if you keep following only the Vedic and flowery language of Vedas. So that's why basically like Prabhupada, Krishna is emphasizing on the point that we have to come above these three modes of material nature and fix ourselves in the transcendental, in the transcendence. That is the 45th verse, which is the concluding remark of this section. And in 44th verse, basically Krishna is telling that what are the things which you will do which will not help you to cultivate single-pointed intelligence. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Paritachetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhavana Vidiyate. So Bhog and Aishwarya. So if you do sense gratification and if you have a lot of material opulences, then that will not let you have single-pointed intelligence. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhavana Vidiyate. So Krishna is giving both the things, like what will help you to cultivate single-pointed intelligence and what will not help you. Flowery Veda, languages of Veda, that will not help you. And Bhoga, sense gratification, will not help you. Aishwarya, the opulences, material opulences, those will not help you to cultivate the single-pointed intelligence. But what will help you is hearing from sadhus and taking association of devotees, chanting the holy name. And when you nourish these seeds of devotion which you have gotten into your heart by the watering process of hearing and chanting, then those seeds will actually germinate into plants. They will come out as sapling, and that sapling will grow into a plant and then finally a tree. And that tree will slowly it will reach the lotus feet of Krishna in the spiritual planets of Vaikuntha and Goloka. So like this, we have to cultivate our small sapling of devotion in our heart by the watering process of hearing and chanting. And just like when you grow a small plant, you give it a lot of fencing, and you give proper amount of sunlight, you give proper amount of water, proper amount of soil. So everything has to be in the proper amount according to your capacity. So that will help you germinate the seed of devotion which is there in your heart. So basically we discussed till the 45th verse, and now we'll start with the 46th verse. I'll just draw it. यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वथा सम्प्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानता. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So yeah, so actually Krishna gives analogies also, like just like in our daily life also, to understand some scientific process, we have to take some analogy from daily life to understand. So here Krishna is giving the example of different wells. So in the Vedic times, in a village, there used to be different wells for different purposes. One well used to be there for washing clothes. One well used to be there for washing utensils. One well used to be there for taking bath. One well used to be there to put water into fields. So like that, different wells were there for different purposes. But actually, if there is a river, then you don't need so many wells. You can do all the things using the water of that river. So Krishna is comparing the process of Krishna consciousness. That is just like a river, and like different small wells are the different Vedic injunctions which are mentioned in the Vedas for different for achieving different material opulences. So if you perform Krishna consciousness, then automatically all the Vedic injunctions need not be followed. Like you can, Krishna consciousness is the superset of all the Vedic injunctions. Yeah. So the purpose of the Vedas, we will later study in the 15th chapter also, is to know Krishna in Tattva. So Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivisto Makta Smritir Jnanam Aponancha Vedescha Sarve Rahmeva Vedyo Vedant Krit Ved Videva Chaham. So ultimately people say, so many, I've interacted with lots of new youth, new folks, they are generally confused because in India, like there are lots of faiths, lots of branches of faith. Some are Brahma Kumaris, some are arguing on Shiva Puran, some are arguing on Brahma Puran. So every Puran is saying that Lord. So whatever Puran is there, if Brahma Puran is there, they will say that Lord Brahma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if Shiv Puran is there, it is said Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But actually, everything has to be taken into perspective. For example, there are 18 Puranas. So there are 6 Puranas for mode of ignorance, 6 Puranas who are prescribed for those who are in mode of passion. And the first 6 Puranas are for those who are cultivating mode of goodness. So like this, according to the capacity of the audience, according to the consciousness of the audience, there is Vedas. So Bhagavatam, it is said, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, they are the highest Vedas. They are Bhagavad Gita is also known as the 5th Veda. Because Bhagavad Gita comes within the Mahabharata, and Mahabharata is the 5th, is also known as the 5th Veda. So that's why Bhagavad Gita actually tells you that what is the ultimate purpose of Vedas. And in this Kali Yuga, like it's very difficult to understand all the Vedas. Vedas contains thousands and thousands of shlokas, lakhs of shlokas, and you don't need to like study all of them, but you just have to study Bhagavad Gita and understand Bhagavad Gita in tattva, from a bona fide authority. Yeah, so let's read maybe 2 paragraphs of this purport. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karmakanda division of the Vedic literature are meant to encourage gradual development of self-realization. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the same words which I just quoted. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna, the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this is Mame Vancho Jivaloke, Jivibhuta Sanatana, Manashasthani Indriyani, Prakritisthoni Gatsati. So actually, as living entities, we are like not these bodies, we are spirit souls, and we are parts and parcels of Krishna. So when we serve Krishna, when we chant the holy name, when we take Krishna Prasadam, then we understand that actually we are part and parcel of him. Our soul belongs to Krishna. And the nature of the soul and nature of Krishna is the same, Satchidananda Vigraha. So our bodies are asat and they are without any knowledge and they are nirananda. But our spirit soul, our spiritual body is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means like truth, and Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means full of bliss. And similar is the nature of the of Krishna also. So Krishna has a Satchidananda Vigraha form. So therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest personal stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. अहो बात सुपाचतो गरियान यज्जिवाग्रे वर्तते नाम तुभ्यम ते पुस्तपस्ते जोगो शस्नुरार्य ब्रह्मणोचुर नाम गृणंति येते. O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of a Chandala, dog eater is situated on the highest platform of self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So yeah, we see that our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he went to West and he preached to hippies. Hippies basically they were taking drugs and marijuana, all those things, and he turned those hippies into happies by feeding them prasadam, by giving them the holy name. So we see that actually these Americans and these Europeans who are sitting in Vrindavan now and Mayapur, they have been actually qualified by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And because of their like love for Prabhupada and their gratitude towards the mercy which Prabhupada shown to them, they were turned into like devotees and even pure devotees, because they become so attached to Prabhupada that they were ready to give up their life. They surrendered their entire life for the mission of Krishna consciousness. And that's why like such a person, he should not be like, his previous background should not be considered so much, but rather his present qualification should be counted. Because generally, like in India also, like there are some Smarta Brahmanas who say that if you are born in a Shudra family, you are not allowed to chant the holy name, or you are not allowed to worship the deities. But actually, even if you are born in Shudra family, or even if you are born in dog eater family, if you take association and if you qualify yourself by your qualities and activities, then you can actually perform these like sacrifices and deity worship and chanting of the holy name and hear from the authorities. So all these things can be done by a proper qualification and proper association. It doesn't like, it is not like that whatever family or birth which we have, that is the only truth. That is not the actual truth. It depends on the qualities and the association you take right now, which determines your future. Yeah. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic rituals, nor is it possible to study all the Vedanta and Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purposes of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. Yeah, so basically every yoga has its process to perfect his life, perfect your own life, right? So krite yadhyayato Vishnu, tretayam yajato mukhay, dwapare paricharyayam kalau tad hari kirtana. So in Satyuga, the process was meditation on Lord Vishnu. So if you see Valmiki was one who wrote Ramayana. He was a Daku, basically. His name was Ratnakar, but he did meditation. He got transformed by the association of Narad Muni, and then he started chanting Mara Mara, and then he actually meditated for 10,000 years. So that the meditation was the like primary process in Satyuga, and in Treta Yuga, the process is of performing elaborate sacrifices. And in the Dwapar Yuga, it is deity worship, and in Kali Yuga, it is chanting of the holy names. So just by chanting of the holy names, you can actually go to Golok Vrindavan. So that is what Sukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj also. What is that verse? Kalir dosh nidhe rajan, eko asti mahat kuda, kirtana deva krishnasya, mukta sangha, Param Rajat. So although there are so many faults in this age, like there are so many mental struggles we go on, we are not able to concentrate on a single thing. Our attention span is reducing, but still, like the only hope for us is this holy name, because if you chant the holy name in proper association, then you can go back to Godhead, go back to the planet of Golok Vrindavan. Mukta Sangha Param Rajat. So like this, basically the importance of the holy name is mentioned at various places in scriptures, and especially in the Kali Yuga, it's most potent. And then Prabhupada is describing about the life of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakashananda Saraswati, why he was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of studying Vedanta philosophy. The Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool and thus asked him to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism. Yeah, so this chanting of holy name is very amazing. And Krishna has various names. Krishna has various names: Govinda, Madhava, Girivardhari, and Madhusudana. So actually, recently I went to Tirupati, and like people were chanting Govinda, Govinda, right? And this one chant of the holy name is also so purifying. Like even they say Govinda, and they say with full ecstasy and full. Basically, this is called like out of your full reflexes. So the purification is so high within your hearts, and that's why the culture in South India is still maintained. Like there are many people who go to Tirupati every month. Like they shave their heads and they go to they go to take darshan of Venkateshwar Balaji. So the culture is preserved like this. Like when you maintain a taste, because once somebody goes, he tastes those Vaikuntha vibrations. He takes darshan, he takes association of devotees, he takes nice prasadam, and then they develop a taste. Okay, like the material world is so painful, is so full of suffering, but the real spiritual pleasure is here, like taking darshan of the Lord, like meeting with the devotees, taking prasadam. So then basically that's why they are coming every month, every 2 months, they are shaving their heads and they are coming to Tirupati. So many devotees are there, and daily millions, thousands of people are taking darshan of Venkateshwar Balaji. And there are so many miracles which are happening. So basically that's how like the devotion is not very difficult. Like whatever basically you like, you do. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshet. So if you like to chant, you chant. If you like to read Bhagavad Gita, you read. If you like to talk to devotees, talk. If you like to eat prasadam, you eat prasadam. If you want to dance in front of Krishna, you dance. And like that, there are various limbs of bhakti. If you want to do kirtan, if you want to play harmonium, mridanga, you play, and then you play it for Krishna. So then basically your taste of devotion will grow more and more. And this is called Gana Bhakti. Basically, whatever you are liking, you are doing it, and that is enhancing your taste. And then basically, slowly, you understand about the rules and regulations also. For example, in case of Prabhupada, also like there used to be initially everybody was a hippie, and if initially like Prabhupada would have said that no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, give up your marijuana, everything, and you have to wake up in the morning 4 a.m. Mangal Aarti. So immediately they would have gone, right? They would not have stayed for the Bhagavad Gita class or Kirtan or Prasadam. But initially, Prabhupada only did like 10 minutes of Kirtan and 5 minutes of Katha, and then half an hour of Prasadam, and then half an hour of talking, like talking random things. So like this, Prabhupada did not impose rules and regulations in the starting. He gave them more freedom to enjoy Krishna consciousness. And then slowly, when you develop a taste of Krishna consciousness, then basically slowly you can understand that what are the things which we need to do to maintain that taste, and what are the things which we need to avoid so that our taste in Krishna consciousness is preserved. So like this, slowly, according to the realization, acting according to their realization and their receptivity, Prabhupada like trained them very nicely in that process. Yeah. So like this, whatever you want, whatever you are liking, you do, and that is actually devotion. But that should be prescribed by the Guru Sadhu and Shastra. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. So this is a very important verse, like and very often quoted. And since we all of us are working people, so very like important for us. Yeah. कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भुर्मा te sangostua karmani. So generally, this verse is known as like karmanyevadikaraste, 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 and karmanyevadikaraste. So people say work is worship, work is worship, work is worship, and work is worship. But actually, they don't understand the rest of 3/4 of shloka. So today we will try to understand there are 4 components to this shloka. That karmanyevadikaraste is good, that we have full right for our work and we should continue our work. But then there are 3 other components also. So Krishna is saying that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. So actually, for example, if you do some project and like you are entitled to be promoted or have an increment, but actually those fruits we are not entitled. Like Krishna gives gives us that, and if we think that we really want that and it is our, then there is an attachment. Basically, there is an association of lower modes, which because of which we are developing this attachment to those results. And if those results we will not get, then that will end up in frustration. So as we read in the first chapter, nimittani vipritani. And the same thing is happening with Arjuna, that Arjuna wants to enjoy the kingdom with his family members, and his expectation was like not fulfilled because Krishna is telling him to kill his family members. So Arjuna is saying that how will I enjoy then? So that's why, because of the attachment of Arjuna to the results and to his family members, he was feeling so much pain in his heart, so much frustration, negative emotions are there in his heart. And that is because Arjuna is not able to understand this principle. And never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Yeah, these are very subtle components, and it takes some cultivation and some spiritual growth in Krishna consciousness, which will ultimately help you to realize this. So the third component is never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. So actually, although we are trying so many things, for example, like if somebody went to Tirupati, right? Like if the tire of the bus could have punctured, he could not have gone, right? And if he stays in that hotel, if the reception would not have allowed him to check in, then he could not have stayed in Tirupati. He would have to return back. So there are so many things which are happening in the background, because of which we are able to do that activity. So that's why we should never consider that I have done this. We should always think that Krishna has empowered me, and that's why that activity has been accomplished. And we should be grateful to Krishna that Krishna has helped us and given us that empowerment to achieve that particular activity. And finally, we should never be attached to not doing our duty, because if we don't do our duty, then also it brings us like negative reaction. So we should never be attached to not doing our duty also. For example, if you are living in a family life, you have a spouse, you have kids, you have parents, then you should do your duty nicely towards everybody. Like you should have a good relationship, and you should do whatsoever. You should try to give them Krishna consciousness. You should discuss about Krishna, and then be warm and gentle to them. And whatever like needs they have, you should respect those needs and try to help them meet their needs. So like this, basically, that is your duty, because like family and parents and kids, so all these are your basically parts and parcels, or you can say it's like an institution of himself. Like you can work as a team to grow in Krishna consciousness and to practice various spiritual activities together. For example, you are taking your parents to Tirupati. That is very good, because like parents have done so much for us. Now it's our turn to help them in their old age, maybe like remembering Krishna, and take like help them to take steps in Krishna consciousness. That is one thing, and then that is not primary, but we should take care of them on the need basis also. And then when according to their receptivity, we should try to share whatever we have realized and whatever we learned in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, so this purport will talk about these three components. So anybody wants to read this purport? Yeah, Vidushi, go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has its proprietary right in regard to the prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I think one more paragraph is there. Sorry.
Yeah. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so this purport is talking about lots of like various types of actions, various types of karma, right? So prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. And then there are three more types of actions, which are like so there is routinous work, emergency work, and desired activities. So nitya karma and kamya karma and apat karma. So in Hindi we call these things. So nitya karma we should never give up. Like for example, we have to wake up early in the morning. We should chant our rounds. We should pay obeisances to our parents, and then we should go to work. We should offer bhoga to the Lord, go to work, perform nicely activities for the pleasure of Krishna, and then come back from work, and then again like read one verse from Bhagavad Gita, take prasadam, and associate with devotees, connect with your family nicely. So these are all routine work. And emergency work, for example, somebody falls ill or somebody falls into accident, so you have to attend to that, like giving up your nitya karma. And then there are desired activities, kamya karma. Basically, suppose you want to beget a child or you want to marry, then you will have to do proper sacrifices. You will have to consult brahmanas. If you want to marry a devotee, then you will consult with brahmanas to for a nice match. That what is the nature of a good spouse. So all those things, basically, there are different activities which we have to do in our life, and these are all actually prescribed duties which we are doing in our life. And like Prabhupada is saying in the purport that nobody can sit idle. Even Arjuna cannot be inactive, right? Because as a spirit soul, we are active, like Anand Vyasa. And spirit soul has a lot of energy. In the spiritual world, we are constantly serving. We are never sleeping. Actually, that is the symptom of devotional service also. That if you are growing more and more in Krishna consciousness, then your sleep will reduce. Like initially, you might be sleeping 10 hours, 12 hours, but now you will be maybe 7 hours, 8 hours is sufficient. And slowly, you can come to 6 hours also. So like this, basically, when you experience this bliss, you want to be engaged in service more and more. And that is what Krishna is recommending Arjuna also. That as a Kshatriya and as a Grasta, you should fight. You should not stay inactive or you should go to forest or meditate. Because we should act according to our nature, according to our acquired nature. And that's what like Krishna will be telling in the third chapter also. because whatever nature we have acquired, whatever modes we have acquired, we cannot stop acting on those. We have to continue on those. But only thing we can do to elevate those modes is that whatever results we are getting, that we can offer to Krishna. And slowly, then we will come to a consciousness where while working also, while acting also, we can think, okay, I'm acting for Krishna, and Krishna is giving me this power, and that's why I'm acting. And even that work is also given by Krishna. So if these three things we can understand while doing any activity, then we can be totally Krishna conscious. So the three things are like the work. For example, if you are working on a good project, so that good project is also given by Krishna, and the ability to work on that project, that is also given by Krishna. And since both these things are of Krishna, then whatever results we will get, that also will be offered to Krishna. So these three things, if we understand, then we can get out of the doership mentality, and then we can understand slowly that what is Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So we should like keep doing our duties, and that is mode of goodness, as mentioned. But we should not be like too much attached to those duties. Yeah, because that is our duty, and we should carry on, and we should always see Krishna in the bigger picture, so that we can connect to him. And because duties might change also, so as you change ashramas, as you change jobs, or as you change varnas, then your duties might change. And that's why we should not be too much attached to the duties or to the people whom we are dealing when we are doing those duties, because then if we when we change our duties, then that will hurt, just like it is hurting to Arjuna. Okay, so we'll continue to the next verse. Any questions till now? Anjan has a question. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to check one thing. So, as you mentioned, like one can change duties also, and then in the beginning of the purport, it was mentioned about capricious actions are those which are not sanctioned by authority. So, what I was wondering was that, and maybe this might have been covered earlier as well in some time, but probably not able to understand clearly that who is the authority here, and like, for example, how do we know that, like, let's say whatever duty like we have taken up or has been assigned to us, that is the one which has been sanctioned by the authority. Who is the authority? And let's say if we determine that, hey, for whatever reason, this is not the right thing I should be doing. Maybe I found out that what is being told to me is not the right thing, and therefore I should try some other thing, and I found something. So who is the authority to judge what I should be doing? So that's basically my question.
Okay. Yeah, very nice question, Anjan, and this is a very pertinent question. And I don't think I'll be able to answer it fully, but I would just say that as we like connect with authorities, like our authorities are these four sampradayas, and ours is Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, where like Prabhupada is the Acharya, and like Prabhupada has created this institute known as ISKCON, which has 7 purposes, and one of those purposes is like to basically reinstate Varnashrama. So right now, like all the duties which we are doing, that is like we don't know which varna we belong to. So there are 4 varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? And according to the propensity you have, you do that activity. So generally, all of us are Shudra because we are doing Shudra activities in our company, right? Because we are reporting to somebody, whatever he's telling us, we are doing that. But actually, like Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana, they never used to work for anybody. They used to have their own business. For example, Vaishya used to take care of cows and agriculture, and Kshatriya used to involve himself in administrative jobs like IAS and stuff. And Brahmanas, they were exclusively devoted to cultivating Krishna consciousness, and that's why they used to guide. Brahmanas used to guide all the other varnas also in their path of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, but this is a very valid and pertinent question, but only thing is that's why we require good mentors and good spiritual master to whom we can connect to, and they can slowly they can guide us towards our right duty. Because when you chant Hare Krishna, right, so then automatically your natural propensities will awaken. You will understand actually what things you were doing in your previous lives, what propensities you are having right now, and how they can be channelized in service of Krishna. So slowly, as you like mature in Krishna consciousness, then you can understand. And authorities are Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra only. So this triangle we have to keep in center. And as all of you are learning Bhagavad Gita slowly, then you will understand that basically what Shastra says about authority. For example, like if you read introduction of Bhagavad Gita, like there are lots of things on authority, right? For example, how do you know that who is your father? So mother is the authority for that, for telling who is your father. So similarly, like for for uh, for understanding what should we eat, that authority is also there in the 17th chapter. So right now we have just started learning Bhagavad Gita, but as you like read Bhagavad Gita and cultivate this understanding for next 2 years, 2.5 years, then you will have a better understanding that who is the sanctioning authority, who are the authorities. For example, there are 12 Mahajans also who are always observing us, who knows our psychophysical movements also, our desires, our like mental thought process. So everything they know, and those are the authorities. Actually, when we die, they decide that which body we should go to, or basically if we go to hellish planet, then which punishment we should have, like according to the like sinful activities we have committed in this life. So all these are authorities basically who are making higher decisions for us. So like this, for example, in Google also, right, like Sundar Pichai is the highest authority, and like all the major decisions are taken by him, all the major announcements are also rendered by him, although he might be having his own like Navratnas or the 9 ministers, but so the authority lies with him and the ministers. But connect with these 4 sampradayas and connect with the teachings of Prabhupada, then we understand actually who is the authority. And we, actually all of us need the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master who can guide us, who can make us understand that what are our true propensities, and then we can choose a occupational duty which is according to that propensity. So that was Varnashrama, because in Varnashrama there is no anxiety in the occupation, and that's why you are able to practice Krishna Bhakti very nicely, because your occupation is according to your Varna, according to your propensities. So there is no anxiety in that. But right now, due to Kali Yuga, like all like everything is topsy turvy. Yeah. So slowly, like as we connect to the devotees, connect with us, then we can make this move. But very like solid and rooted taste and chanting of. Yeah. Is that okay, Anjan?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, that helps. Actually, I was wondering about authority in the context of, basically the folks who are working, but it is actually something more than that. It is about a higher authority, sometimes which we may not even be able to see. So I mean that helps. I mean your explanation helps give a clear picture. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. For example, like even Bhishma Dev, like when Yudhishthir Maharaj, they finished the battlefield, they finished the battle of Mahabharata. Yudhishthir Maharaj was very disappointed, and he was like cursing himself that because of him, so many people have been killed. But then Bhishma Dev told Yudhishthir Maharaj that Yuyam Dharmanandana Vipra Dharma and Achyutashraya. So if you have followed
You are on mute, Rajat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying I'm sorry, the connection got disconnected. So I was just answering Anjan's question. Is it okay, Anjan?
Yes, Rajat. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I would, always seek the direction of devotees and try to take incremental steps towards Krishna, whatever devotee indicates, and that will help you to navigate. Yeah. Harima has a question.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rajat. So it was a very interesting point to note that as we will move towards more into the Krishna consciousness, our sleep hours will also reduce. So could you please explain it? Means why, or means why it happens?
Why it happens? Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting question, and yeah, anybody wants to comment, like Nidhi, Sukirti, or Himanshu? Bharti has left. Yeah, actually, so the entire spiritual life is, yeah, Himanshu. Good.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
I mean, Rajat will be better able to explain this answer, but with whatever little time I have started spending in Krishna consciousness, I have noticed one thing: like the more you delve deeper into the Krishna consciousness, like you will be able to have a number of things which you have not thought about earlier. Not about, I'm not talking about material things, but I would talk about experiences and better things in life, right? Which are basically better for your overall well-being. So, like, this is more of a, like, if you want to spend more time with Krishna, he will definitely create such circumstances that you will be able to do that. So it all depends, like what higher cause you are basically trying to attain here, right? And rest all the circumstances will move accordingly.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just like suppose you go to Apugar or like Fananfood village with your schoolmates, right? And you end up not sleeping, and you end up having fun for 24 hours. So you will forget sleeping, you will forget eating. So Krishna consciousness is like that. So when you start relishing it, then you will forget sleeping or eating. So it depends that how much taste you are having. So that was the life of Goswamis. Actually, we will read about this and discuss about this in the 6th chapter more. And like there is a verse there which tells that yukta hara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So actually, if you take these things in proper proportion, our food, our recreation, our sleeping, then actually we can overcome all the miseries of this material world. So there is a prescribed process in which so when you taste prasadam, because like ultimately we like this process is of purification, right? Like our soul is covered with the layers of mind and intelligence and false ego, and when you start practicing Krishna consciousness, those layers slowly they dissolve, and it's like an onion peeling problem. Basically the onions start peeling, and then slowly you can, like if you are experiencing that taste and that relishing, then basically automatically your material needs will be reduced. So this is the principle, that if your attachment to spiritual things increase, then automatically your material attachments will decrease. And similarly, we see in the life of Parikshit Maharaj also, that although he was a king and he was dealing with such a big kingdom, but he was cursed by a small Brahman boy. And that Brahman boy told that he will die after 7 days by the biting of a snake bird. So Parikshit Maharaj gave up everything, like eating food and drinking, and he prepared himself for like taking shelter of the Lord at the time of death. So for next 7 days, he just sat on the bank of river Saraswati and heard from Sukdev Goswami. So he was relishing it, like every moment, every second he's relishing it. He's asking questions, although there are only 2-3 days left in his lifetime, but he's still asking more and more questions, and he's relishing the Krishna Katha by Sukdev Goswami very, very deeply. So like this, we will observe that right now we are all situated virtually, like, but actually when you come together, you do kirtan, have Krishna Prasadam, then basically slowly you will experience these things, that your activity is increasing. It's just like basically, as I told, that it's just like eating an ice cream. If you eat it for 2 hours, you will not know that 2 hours have passed. Or maybe like you meeting with your girlfriend or boyfriend, right? So the time spent is so like quality that you will not feel that so much time has been spent. And then even sleeping also you would not like to do. You would like to continue those activities in that also. Your sleeping will also not be needed. So like this, like we can learn from the life of acharyas and Goswamis also. Goswamis, they used to sleep for 1.5 hours and 2 hours, and they used to eat only one stick of butter. But that used to be a different lifestyle, different mode of life, and different infrastructure, different association, and they used to live in Vrindavan. All those things were there. So slowly we have to take yeah, proper steps and then come to the right standard. Is it okay, Avril?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Manshu, and thank you, Rajat. I think you're very good at giving the analogy. So yeah, you explained it really well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rajat.
Yeah, so we can understand, right? Like whatever things we get pleasure in. For example, we give this analogy of like driving a Maruti car and driving a Mercedes, right? So if you are driving a Maruti car and suddenly you get the opportunity to buy a Mercedes, then you will drive the Mercedes, right? Like you will like that experience more, and you will never look upon the Maruti car. So Krishna Bhakti is like that. So once you cultivate a higher taste, your lower taste will be given up, and then you will not like sleeping actually. So sleeping, basically whatever is needed for your body you should do, but beyond that you will not think, oh, I'm wasting time, let's do something more interesting which has more bliss and more spiritual blissfulness, happiness, like that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. This is a deep topic. Yeah. Okay, I think we can conclude for today. Any other questions? Himanshu has raised his hand. Question. Okay.
No, Rajat, I don't have any question. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so let's read one more verse. I think this is important words to understand the Karmanyavadhikaraste words also. So let's think. Yeah. Yogastha Guru Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Dhananja Sang Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Yeah, so this yogastha, this is very important word. Basically, you have to remain situated in your connection. So initially, we have to find that connection to the divine, to Krishna, to the devotees, and then once we find that connection, when we find that our soul is connecting to this particular mercy, then we stay in that connection. So that's what Krishna is requesting Arjuna, that you stay within that relationship and then fight, abandoning your success and failure. Because in that, staying within that connection, there is a lot of spiritual happiness, and that will help you to reveal your Swarupa. What is spiritual life? That will become more clear. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we can take the purport next time. Okay, so basically this is the concluding words of this section. From after this words, Arjuna will again ask a question about a Sthita Pragya devotee, and then Krishna will answer in detail. And Krishna is also giving a lot of analogies to explain the characteristics of a Sthita Pragya devotee. So it's a very interesting section. So in one analogy, he's saying that a devotee is like an ocean in which lots of rivers are entering, but the ocean is disturbed. So a devotee's heart, although there might be a lot of material desires entering, but the devotee is not disturbed. He is fully equipoised as an ocean within the heart. So that requires a lot of the vessel of devotion within your heart should be full, and that will help you to control your material desires, mind and senses. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for all of your association, and we'll continue next Sunday. I think this is going to be exciting. Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.